Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and this shiny red valve cover is for the Mini Cooper. So as you can see, this one is made by HSP, I'm guessing. Anyways, it was a nice buy. Looks pretty fancy, and it shouldn't warp like the plastic ones. So let's go ahead, grab, I believe this is probably like a T30. I'd have to double check. But just loosen off this cover. I could probably do this with the drill, but today we're not. So just take off these two. Be careful if your engine is warm, because well, if it is warm, you'll be feeling some heat. That's basically it. You put these off to the side, and just let's see if we can lift. Okay. Like that. Ta-da! On the very bottom of this one, you squeeze it, and it'll just be on the very tip. See? Right there. And then these ones are the easiest. Lift, slide out. Lift, lift, and lift. All right. And then down here, we'll leave that one for a sec. This should just lift up. Might need a flat blade just to open it up a little bit, but this wiring harness just lifts off like that. This is a nice little ground right here. This one is only finger tight right now. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Do not lose it. Right here, loosen this clip off. This is going to be for our intake box right here, which houses your intake filter. After you go ahead and you take that off, you can go ahead and take this Torx right here. I'll have to get you, this one's already loose. Have to get you the size in a second. There, that's loose enough. You don't want these all the way out because they'll probably roll off into your engine bay. So just loosen them off until you're like, hey, that's not coming up anymore, like right there. And then we'll get the hard to reach one right here. There, those should be all done. Now, last but not least, take the 10 mil out, and this should just slide up and out of the way. So these guys are T20s, and those two big ones that were right here are T30s. All we gotta do is grab this now, wiggle, wiggle, slide this out of the way, flip this up like this, take your air filter out, and just put it just like this off to the side, leaving it up. So now that we've got that, if you want to, some people will say put a bag over that or a glove to make sure that it doesn't get anything inside of it. You can if you want. Whatever you do, don't shove something inside of it, because if you forget the thing that's inside of it, when you start your engine, it's going to suck it in, and that's a whole nother monster to deal with. Anyways, now that that's taken care of, if you wanted to, you could go further. I'm pretty sure this just, oh, there's a 10 mil here. So you could, or actually no, this should just lift right out. Now that I think about it, let's see. We got a rubber grommet right here. Lift. There. More room. So you just come over here, slide this one over. And yeah, that doesn't usually work that easy. But anyways, usually what you would do is you're trying to compress these so they work around just the small beveled edge. This is your probably your PVC system here, so we'll leave this right here. So, little flat blade under the lift tab. Not much, don't go yanking it up. One more up here. Slides off, got those out of the way. Again, we got more of these holders right here, and we just want this so we can clear the valve cover. That's free, that's free. This is not free, now it's free. And yeah, as long as that's out of the way. Okay, we're making good progress. Next thing to do, wiggle, wiggle, jiggle. And yeah, we're gonna have probably a little fluid. No fluid in that cylinder. Perfect. Another one here, no fluid there. Right here, let's go ahead and take that out of the way. Again, put it somewhere where you're gonna lose it. Have that over there. And then now we can access all our bolts. So the best thing to do is actually remove these sensors first, because we're gonna have to reuse those sensors. That bolt's out. Let's go ahead over here. Ooh, that was a tight one. And we'll take these screws, The good thing is these are machine screws, so these should actually transfer onto our other valve cover because it's been done out for machine screws. So if we're lucky, and these just slip right out. Wow, that's a little oily. And wow, that one's a little oily too. We'll put these two off to the side. 10 mil. That one's a nut. Literally, we're just doing the perimeter. Let's just for a second. Those are soaked in oil. So there are a couple things we can do, which I will go over afterwards. A couple of key locations that we might just end up throwing some gasket maker on, just so that way we know it's going to seal up. And let's see here. This one's out, this one's out. Oh, we got two in the center here. Oh, no, that's a spark plug. So yeah, these two and the whole perimeter. We're just going to go over the perimeter, make sure we got it all. And yeah, see, look at that. It's already off. Whoop, sorry. Let's. Oh, we got smoke, so we're still warm. You want some smokage? I got some smokage, baby. Ooh, that looks good. What I have is a ripped up sanding block, which is what I love to use for gaskets. Why? Because there's no actual sandpaper, it's just a rough material to it, and it just cleans up the gasket area surface really, really well. Now the other thing I'm going to do is, of course, just go over it very lightly, because if there is any imperfections in this, you will get a leak. Seriously, it will suck. So just go around it. Do not use actual sandpaper. Some people will, but you don't want any sand grits in here. And if that's the biggest thing. So you can do it with that. You can use it with an X-Acto. Go over it with an X-Acto. But like I said, I like to get a drywall sanding block like so, because they're very low grit and you're not going to sand metal with them. There's just no way you're going to cause any imperfections. You would, yeah, if you did, you deserve cookies. So let's go ahead and go over our entire surface. It's a very boring process, but the more time you spend doing this, and especially in these corners, like see right here, this is an area where we're going to definitely be using like an RTV to make sure that we get into these corners with a gasket maker so it doesn't leak. Right here, right over here, right over here, and definitely right here. So I got to clean that up too, right there. But yeah, make sure your surface is nice and shiny. Just take the time, and after we're at a point where we think we're good, we're going to go ahead and prep the gasket. So this is just Right Stuff gasket maker. What we want to do is we're going to put a little bit, just like so, a little being a lot or whatever you want to do, just on a couple key locations where we know there is going to be a little bit of imperfections, meaning this is where casting imperfections can cause leaks. So I like to throw a little bit there. These you don't have to really worry about, but see right here, definitely right here. I'm just gonna see if I can get a little bit more here. I didn't put a big enough hole in this. So just right there, just like that. A little bit right here, just like that. And spread it out. Again, just the whole groove of the corner. I'll clean that up after. Again, I'd rather just make sure. So again, right there. And right here too. Now that we've got those, you can even go down here into the valley if you want to. There, just a little bit. Okay, now that we've got that, we'll go ahead and try and not get too much of this on my valve cover. But we're gonna flip this over. we're gonna lift, if you can, with your other hand, just lift this, just so we can try and work that just around here. There we go. And then this will just come down right here. Make sure we don't get anything in there. We'll get this one here, and that just right there. Okay, from here, after it's sitting there, what we're gonna do, just thread in all of the bolts. We just do not put any torque on them yet. Just take your driver or your impact. I wouldn't even use an impact if you're new to an impact, and just lightly tie in all the screws, not to any amount of torque yet. We're gonna let this sit here. We're gonna let it sit for a half an hour after we put the screws in, after it's sat here, then we torque it to spec. Only bolt that's different is this one, which is the one that had that little ground on it. So like I said, just like that. We are just literally, we don't want any pressure because we're not even doing our torque pattern yet. But if you wanted to, the torque pattern is pretty simple, and we'll show you after. Basically with the torque pattern, you're gonna end up starting in the center. I will show you that after though. You would be starting with these two. There we go. And here. No, we're not following the torque pattern right now. So that's in, that's in. Again, we still have some space in our gasket cover, which is good. We're just seating the bolts, as it's called. Okay, that's in, that's in. And make sure here. Okay, that's in. I think we have got all of them in. Now that we've got them all in, just lightly in, what we're gonna do is let these sit for, like I said, about, even if you left it for 15 minutes, just something, especially if you're using the quick dry stuff like I am. This stuff is a very quick dry gasket maker, so it's usually not too bad. Set your torque wrench to 10 Newton meters. After you've done so, we're gonna start with this one. And as you can see, ta-da, this first one's done. Second one, ta-da, it's done for me because I already went around these. And the next one right here, let's make sure, there, and this one, then this one, and then over to here, this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then we jump over here, here, and here. Done. Both the cam positioning sensors are the exact same, don't worry, just go ahead, slide them in. Make sure you check the O-ring. If it's chipped at all, replace the O-ring, because otherwise it'll start leaking on your brand new valve cover and you won't know why. So after we do that, go ahead, a little bit of blue Loctite. We're gonna thread these in, and don't put much torque on them. I don't have a torque spec for these bolts because they're just literally sensor retainers. So if you really need something, maybe 105 inch-pounds, that's not gonna strip it out. So just be very gentle with them. When you're tightening these, like I said, just right up to the gills, just like that. And then not loosening like that much. Especially with the blue Loctite. Again, this is aluminum. You do not want to go ahead and start going nuts. And if this is the plastic one, you really don't want to, because you will definitely strip them out. Okay, now that we got those two, we might as well just quickly lock these back on so we don't forget them. So make sure, holding your clip all the way up, and then see how it just caught? Pull down, it locks in. Again, right here. We're just gonna make sure, again, they are fun. You just gotta make sure this catches. And see how it actually almost moves the clip? And then right here. And one more. Funny fact, I'm gonna show you this afterwards. We were laughing at this. This came with the valve cover. See how it's upside down? They actually painted it upside down. This, you can't flip the cap. But if you take your factory cap and put it on the right way, look, it's the right side up. So, yeah, if you're gonna use the new cap they gave you, just keep in mind, for some reason, it's upside down. Little trick for you on this little ground nut. that we took off. Whoops. Don't do that. And just thread that right on. Just like that. Then go ahead, take this. And the trick with this is making sure we actually don't tighten the bolt underneath it. There we go, and right there. So this one had the little insert pull out, but all you do is right on here, slide these back on. Make sure it holds. Oh, one of mine broke. That's not a big deal. It's to be expected. You could do something there if you want to. Again, we got another one up here. This is a good time to start walking around the engine and making sure that everything is plugged back in that we took off. So as you can see, this one's all good. We're gonna put that 10 mil back in here afterwards in a second. We're gonna clip this one back in up here. Clip this one in and clip this one in. Oh, that's why. Okay, and this is for that. We'll pop this up. And from there, we've got this. Let's see if we can actually get this into here. This is gonna fit a little tight, it looks like. Let's see if we can actually, oh, I got it. This is a very, very tight fit. You know what? That's good enough. All right, you can see it looks pretty nice, right? Well, we're gonna cover it up. If you look right here, you're gonna see these go into here, just like that. As they go in, whoop, they come out. No, we wanna make sure that it lines up right there. This clips in right here, perfect. See, nice and smooth. We might have to put a little bit more pressure on. These screws didn't come with it. I'm pretty sure they're 1/4 20. I had these in my extra screw bins from another project, and these actually look pretty shiny. These are actually from a Mishimoto radiator I put inside my Jeep Hemi project. So yeah, had a couple extras, and these are not the size, but they will turn it because they're buttery smooth. We are looking for probably a 10 mil. Yeah. And look at how shiny that looks. I gotta say, it makes the minis kind of stand out more, and the couple of screws we have there. Now, it's very important, these screws seem long enough, or short enough, but if you feel that these cap out, don't go ham with them. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you pop these through your valve cover, it's gonna be a bad, bad day. So that is it. I felt it cap right there. Let's see if we have any movement. We don't. So like I said, not a whole lot. I threw a tiny bit of Loctite so that way I didn't have to do much on the valve cover. Look at how shiny that is. Holy smokes. I love the look of it. By the way, we ended up using the old oil cap because we found this one sealed up better. So keep that in mind when you're doing this, that you might choose to do that. Plus, as we showed earlier, the other one was upside down. Lift this up a little bit. Go ahead, cockeye this one, lock it in. Next thing is, let's line up these rubber pieces here. Push down on the rubber, push down on this rubber, and then we might as well quickly pop this bolt in. If you want to add some blue Loctite, I don't bother because this one you're going to take out more often than the other stuff. Just leave that just like so. So with this little clip right here, just take it, slide it in, line it up, and that little red piece that was in here, you just pull it out, and that's how this locks in. And now we'll put that on. You do not, by any means, use an impact gun. You will strip them out, which you will cry, trust me. So from here, we're just gonna take this side, slide this onto here, ta-da, line this up on here, hand tighten these first, and then grab your tool. This is the right thread, it's just powder coating. Go ahead, tighten it up, and don't go ham. See how I'm using one hand? The reason why is if you go ham with that, it's gonna be a nightmare. So let's go ahead and put the T20 back on and just tighten the 4 bolts right here. And then, whatever you do, do not forget, plug this in because otherwise your car will not like you. Let's go ahead, tighten those 4 bolts and start it up. So that was the plastic one, and that is the nice new red one. Can you really go wrong? It's literally the same price as the OEM valve cover. It's just made of metal. You know what? It's still nice, it's still light, and I think it looks a heck of a lot better, and it won't warp like that one did. So, can you go wrong? No, not at all. I think you should do that. The only thing you have to remember is to order, like I said, I believe this is quarter 20. I can't be sure. So when you get your valve cover, before you go ahead and install it, make sure you find 2 screws that fit that. This one was the right thread pitch and the rest were all fine. It was just that one. And same with the 2 sensor screw holes. Those were the same screws. So you're fine there. There's the finished product. I think it looks absolutely insane with that nice red. I'm glad these Mishimoto screws fit. It just makes the cymbal pop, as I've said probably the 100th time now, but it really did complete the look. And really, you want to hear something crazy? This cost as much as that plastic one. Seriously, the OEM price of that is the same as this. Again, what I might do is if we can track down the link, I'll post the link in the description to this specific valve cover. Again, you're going to spot some flaws. It's made pretty quick. This has got a little bit of paint runoff here. We got some chips, but you know what? It looks great and it's going to work just as it's intended. You don't want to spend a lot. It's a valve cover. It's just for appearance. But in this case, it's actually functional because the plastic ones are known to warp. So it's better to go to the metal, and then that's going to have better heat transfer, blah, 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 blah. We won't go too much into it. I really am happy with this product. So I hope this video helped you out. Thanks again for watching. Press like if it did help you out. And what we're going to end up doing is, like I said, I'll throw the link in the description if we have a link. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks again for watching. Peace.